What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the Two Goat Show. We're your hosts, Mariah and Steph. Steph, happy Two Goat Thursday. Good to see you. How you doing?
Happy to go Thursday. I'm good, as I was just saying to you before we went live here, just getting my desk situated here in the new apartment. And yeah, I got my mic, but it's opposite from where I used to have it. So like everything's flipped. I'll get used to it, but yeah, I'm a little out of whack.
Yeah, take some getting used to. I'm glad you got moved and you're in your new place. Chats, what's up? Happy Two Goat Thursday. Hope everybody's had a great week so far. Weekend's almost here. I know it's been kind of uh a crappy 2 weeks for us
In a
as
week.
49er fans.
Hmm.
But like I feel like we've spent a lot of time talking about the negatives, talking about what this player did wrong, that player did wrong, this guy did wrong, this guy not living up to his money, and all this shit up until this point. So that's why I named it, like, is it all doom and gloom, or like, is there actually going to be some brighter days for the faithful, for the 49ers organization, players, team, everybody ahead? I'm hoping we got brighter days ahead. So we'll get into it. Get ready for the Patriots coming to town. Hopefully we can get, another dub at home in front of the faithful. Steph, you're staying home this week?
Yes. It
Okay.
better be.
Steph's not going to be there. So you guys got to win on your own. All right. But yeah, I hope everybody's wonderful. Rob, I love this, says one goat. Well, yeah, one goat plus one goat equals two goats. And then it said, I knew public school education, and now somebody made my comment go away, would someday, like, pay off, this, the continue the sentence, but, and then puts some SUM. So that was good, Rob. That made me get a little chuckle before the show started. But Don, throwback, always the first two in the building. We appreciate you guys as always. Jimmy, Bebop, who else we got? Jason, Rick, what's up? We appreciate you all. Jason, let's start it off, Steph. Jason, we appreciate the donation here. Go ahead and read it for us.
Jason says, anyone who says the Madden curse isn't real can kiss my salty grits. Ouch. I didn't want to believe that it was real, and we've had conversations about this, Mariah, like in the off season, like when it was announced. Now is like blowing it off, but mostly because it seemed like it was a thing of the past. Like the last real Madden curse was Antonio Brown some years back, and it really hadn't impacted anyone else since. So I thought it was done. And also, I'm a big believer of you give power to the things you believe in. And so I wasn't trying to believe in it, but man, it doesn't look too good right now. And then also on top of that, you have the Super Bowl hangover after week one. I was saying, like, there's no Super Bowl hangover. What? They look great. But I don't know, with all the injuries, with just everything that's going on right
Here's my
now, I think
notes.
it's
Neither of these two new are on my notes, by the
hit the
way.
nail on the head then. Yeah. We're feeling similar vibes right now.
Yeah. I don't know, like the whole, I hate the Super Bowl hangover thing, especially like for a losing team. Like, you didn't even win the Super Bowl and you're gonna have a fucking hangover. Like, oh my God. And then like, I keep wanting to, like, this thought keeps creeping up into my minds, like, these last 2 years we've been so healthy, right? Like, even CMC by alone, don't even look at the 49ers big picture yet, but CMC alone, since we've gotten him, has been so healthy, which everybody criticized this trade for the 49ers because, oh, you're trading for damaged goods. Why are you giving up all these picks for somebody that's already damaged, that can't stay healthy, he hasn't finished the season, all this shit, right? Then we get into the team and he's been everything for us. Like, the 49ers have literally rode this guy to every single win that they've had since we've traded for him. And now he's hurt. And it's just like, man, like, I didn't want to say, like, oh, it's just a matter of time, but it's like that thought kept creeping in my head because it's like he's been so healthy up until this point. And then you look at the 49ers just big picture overall in the last couple years, they've been pretty healthy. Like we haven't had no serious injuries that knocked us out to where it's like, oh shit, our season, I think it's in question. Like I don't think we're going to be able to finish the season. Like so many, and sorry guys, like I'm still sick, so I know my voice sounds crazy. So many seasons prior to that, it was like Jimmy got hurt, our starting quarterback, and it was like, well, there goes the season, right? Like you can't count on the backups at that point. And like we haven't had that. So in a game, in a sport where it's literally so physical, injuries happen to everybody, all these teams, it's just like it's luck runs out. Like these guys aren't going to stay healthy forever. They're taking tolls on their freaking body, game in and game out. And that's why it's so important that when you get to the Super Bowl, you fucking win it. You don't keep getting there and losing and losing and losing, because it's so hard for everything to line up perfect for you to get there. So, Madden curse, I don't know. Like it makes me sick to my stomach to think like this guy just had one of the best seasons I've ever seen from a 49ers player with my own eyes, right? Got, what did he get? Offensive player of the year. And then gets no, let's not put that out there. Gets a Madden cover. And now, like, I'm starting to question, are we going to even see him on the field again this season? Do we see him on the field again ever? Like, who knows what's going on with him? Like, he's leaving the country. He's going to different countries to figure this shit out. Like, when you're in California next to Stanford, like something, I don't know. So there's lots of doom up until this point, right? Like all these things we can look at, the hangover, the curse, the injury luck that we've had up until this point, and now we're getting hit with all these injuries. But Steph, does that mean like, should we pack it up? Should we just like cancel the show? We won't do it the rest of the season because the 49ers are just gonna be losers from here on out? Or do you think that, there might be some brighter days ahead?
Well, we're gonna be here regardless whether this team is ass or not, because we're the faithful. So, even if they're bad, we're gonna be here just like we were before they were good. Got another super chat from Jason. If you could put that one up, he says it's a hangover for the Super Bowl losers because they wake up with the worst headache ever after finding out the 10 they thought they were going home with is actually a 3. Yikes.
And they were in Vegas, so
Yeah, what stays in Vegas, man. I won't judge.
Not too much, not too much.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, look, I felt pretty negative this week. Just because I'm not getting good vibes, like injuries, losing to a team you should have beat handedly, doesn't make me feel great. I feel like it's just a repeat of the same things we thank you, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
I think it's a repeat of, what we see continuously with this team. They do this every season. And like more often than not, under Kyle Shanahan, it does happen in the beginning of the year where like they start off slow, and I think what you said, like the last 2 years, they've had good injury luck, but obviously we get the sense this year it's not going to be as lucky for them in terms of injuries. It's going to make it that much harder to climb that mountain again. So they got to really dig deep, and it's almost like this team is too good for their own good, because I think they can skate by against so many teams, and they've done it in the past, that they know they don't have to play their best game to win. But if everyone thinks that, you are going to look bad. And as we know in the NFL, any given Sunday, a team's going to play their best against you. We saw the best Rams version. We saw like, what did we say last week, Mariah? We were like, if there's going to be anyone who wills the Rams to a win, it's going to be Matthew Stafford. Mm-hmm. We got Matthew Stafford's best on Sunday. And you just got to be prepared for opposing teams to give it to you, like all of it,
Yeah.
And always find the parallel between the Niners and the Warriors in a way, in this one sense too, where the last couple years I feel like there have been some bad teams the Warriors have lost to that they had no business losing to, just because that team plays their best fucking game against the against the Warriors. And so that's kind of the treatment that the 49ers are getting, and they just have to be prepared for it. And that's why you can't overlook any opponent, because like they can't wait to play you and prove that they could do it for themselves. So yeah, it's been disappointing so far, but like it's week 4 that we're in now, and they still control what happens, right?
Yeah.
And playing the Patriots coming up, like that's another team, an inferior team that you should be able to beat. So hey, if you're gonna do all that talking, say you're the best team in the league and all this stuff, show us, show us. You have to beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
Yeah. Yep. And like I feel like you said, every season we talk about, oh, they start off slow, right? Every season we talk about once we get to the end, oh, well, if they would have beat this team that they were supposed to beat, we would have home field advantage and wouldn't be in this situation. Oh, if they would have beat this team they were supposed to beat, we would have this, this situation. We would be this seed instead of this and be in this situation. Every single season we talk about that. And I'm sure all fans of every team can find, like they all bitch about something, right? But it's like, and now the same thing is happening again this season. We start off slow. Well, we win the first game, which makes me think, okay, Kyle finally pulled his head out of his ass. We got this going, right? We're on the right track here. The team looked great. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, what happened? We're back to being turtles, starting off slow again. Here we go. We sat up here and said, yeah, the 49ers have injuries, but guess what? The Rams have more injuries. Like they literally have nobody. That's why we said, if it's going to be anybody to beat us, it's going to be Stafford, because who else do they have? Yeah. And like you were supposed to beat them. Like these are the games you're supposed to take care of. And like, especially like, I hate looking at Sean McVay's smug ass smile. Like, Shanahan, he'll go hug every coach except for like the ones that he's actually homies with, like it's such a weird thing. And McVay's the worst one. Like they act like they're like Shanahan don't even look in his fucking direction. And McVay's just there. I'm just like, with his freaking, I hate his hairstyle. I just like, I hate that he's so good of a coach, because like, or go coach somewhere else that's like not in our division. So like, I don't have to like hate you so much, but it's like to the point where I just like made up, like, I can't hate his coaching because he's a good coach, like he got a Super Bowl before Shanahan, right? So I can't hate him for that. It's like, so I have to make up like his hair. Okay, I'm going to hate him for his freaking hair. I'm going to hate him for that stupid ass smile that he sits over there with every time he's freaking beating us. Like, and the fact that like you're leading them for literally like 57 minutes of the game, and then at the end, like all hell breaks loose in the last couple minutes of the game, and he gets that freaking satisfaction to walk across the field and smile at Shanahan.
I'd be satisfied.
Like, I know, and I hate it. Oh my God, I can't stand it. All right, so looking at some brighter things. So I made a little list here of, some things that might, help us get through here. So one, Kittle's back at practice. So we could say, oh, we still have Brandon Ayuk. We had these weapons, this weapons against the Rams. Well, none of them showed up really, except for Juwan Jennings, right? So I'm never going to complain when George Kittle's on the field, whether he can help with blocking, the O-line, he's out there trucking over people. I don't care. Get his ass back on the field. So he's back. Always a good sign. One game is all we need him to miss this season. So whatever you got to do, Kittle, get it right. Purdy, like we were starting to question all of a sudden back issues, like somebody that lives with daily, every single day back issues. When I hear somebody talk about back pain, especially like and I talked about this on my show the other day. I have a group chat with Tanya and Peachy, right? And during the game, after Purdy does his first quarterback sneak. Now, I've always has hated, ever since we've had Purdy, I've hated the way he does quarterback sneaks. I don't know if he came to the team, like I haven't looked at his college film to see if he quarterback sneaked and how he did it, but like I don't know if that's something that they're taught or if they just go off instinct or like how that really works, right? But like I always remember when he got the concussion, right? Mm-hmm. And he had did those quarterback sneaks, right? And like you can see his head like just pounding into the guys, like into his O-line's, backs, right? And like I'm texting them, I'm like, why does he have to shove his head like literally up the ass of the O-lineman in front of him? And he's little, right? So that hit, when you're trucking your head into somebody, it's like pushing down on your neck, pushing into your spine, and I'm telling them, like, I hate the way he does that. Like teach him a different way to do it. And so, we're talking about it. And then all of a sudden he does another one. Well, then they get a penalty, right? So I'm bitching in the chat again. There it goes again. Look at his freaking head. Pretty soon they're going to announce he has a concussion, right? Then we get a penalty. The very next play, we go right back to the freaking quarterback sneak. I'm like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. So then they're like responding back and like, yeah, we see it, because they're showing the replay. And like, you can literally see his head just like smashing, and it's just like, like there has to be a better way. Not every quarterback in the league. Like I watch a lot of freaking football and they're not doing their quarterback sneaks like that. They're not stuffing their head literally up the ass of the guy in front of him. That's not happening. So I don't know if he needs to be taught a different way, but now he has back soreness, right, after the game. I'm not saying that's where it happens, but it definitely could be because you're smashing your freaking everything, right? And I'm just like, oh, back soreness, no. Luckily, Purdy was back at practice, so that's on the good list, Steph. Pearsall, going to be back soon. So we can talk about Brandon Ayuk hasn't been living up to the contract, yada, yada, yada. But guess what? Remember, we drafted a wide receiver in the first round, and this is the last week he's going to be under IR. From the looks of it, I would expect that he is off IR after the 4 weeks. BA, just talked about it, right? Like we've all been here talking about BA, his drops, this, that. But we talked about this leading up to it. He wasn't going to be in football shape. He hadn't been working with the team. He none of this shit, right? So now I'm expecting each week as we go that he better be getting better, right? Like there's no excuse. You're getting in football shape. There was already no excuse not to have like a chemistry or connection with your quarterback that you've already had. It's not a new quarterback, right? But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and get your ass ready. Hafunga, the same thing. He's finally back. I'm not sure how well or how unwell he played this game. But the same thing with him. Each game that he's back, I'm going to expect him to get better, right? Get into game shape. He has to get back that injury, all that stuff that comes along with it. So on the rise with that. Debo, going to be back soon. It's not a serious injury, right? So the theme here, our weapons, they're going to be rolling back in pretty soon. So as long as the guys that we have, we're not overusing them, to make up for the lack of these other guys being there, and we can keep them healthy, like our team's going to start getting healthier here. The rookies, now, just the same as, I'm expecting these guys that are coming back from injury and whatnot to get better each, week that we go. The rookies, the same. They're in there, they're getting reps, they're getting play time. I'm expecting them to get better each week as we go too, right? Green, we saw Garendo get some play. Obviously, Pooney. D. Winters is not, that, but he came back from injury, and although he got hurt again, he's back from practice, and he looks great. Like, I hope he can stay healthy and be playing next to Fred until Greenlaw gets back, because that kid is just, whew. So, Steph, there's good things to look brighter. Future's looking brighter. Now we just have to take care of business. Like the guys that we have to step the fuck up. Like it's not, and that's from coaching all the way down. Like it's been a cluster from Shanahan. Don't get me started on special teams. The special teams to defensive, all a mess, all of it stuff. So your thoughts on the brighter future?
Yeah, I mean, Debo, it looked like he was back at practice this week. That's good. Also, or today, he was back at practice. D Winters was also back at practice, which is great because at first I was a little worried that he'd miss at least a week because that's about how much he missed, maybe a couple weeks in training camp when he had this ankle injury. He re-aggravated it, but thankfully it seems like it's not that serious because he was back today. I wish I could be as positive as you, Mariah, because like I do want to focus on like the positive things. Trust me, I want to believe that they're gonna get over this. But like the injuries continue to pile. Like we talked about a couple of guys who are coming back. That's great. Like honestly, great. On the defensive side, backup linebacker Curtis Robinson was carted off today with a knee injury while he was working on they were working on special teams drills. And then defensive tackle Jordan Elliott got carted off at practice today too. So I'm just like, oh my God, this feels like 2020. It really does. And you know, they're already really thin at interior defensive line. I have a lot of concerns about that because like the defensive line has already kind of not put it all together yet, and I want to give them
DJ
time,
Jones,
right?
you are a 49er.
Well, I love DJ Jones, and they should have made that move in the off season. I remember the reports that they tried or like they reached out to Denver about him, but like they weren't trying to trade him. But if they want to go down that path again, it would make a lot of sense, I think, if the 49ers feel like this season is, you know, one where they can make the playoffs and whatnot. I got to tell you, like, honestly, if they lose this game on Sunday, they have an uphill battle for not just the Super Bowl, but making the playoffs. You know, that's where they're at. So they're kind of back against the wall. That is historically, like, with this Kyle Shanahan regime, like, when they've been the best, you know, when they have their backs against the wall, they know they got to pull it out. So in a way, it's like, okay, fine. If this is what you wanted to get your motivation back up, okay, here you go. Like you got something to fight for this season again. Like if that's what you wanted. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. They have their work cut out for them. But yeah, I think it really we need the guys who are healthy to step up. We need performances like Jawan Jennings, like when you get those opportunities, like Jordan Mason, you know, more of that. And you know, when your number's called, you got to be able to show up and help this team win because that should be the expectation out of everyone. But I think you make a good point. Like it's coaching as well because you got to be able to make sure that the backup guys are ready. You know, when their numbers are called and they're not like shell shocked and oh my God, I don't know what to do. I'm so nervous. I'm gonna drop this ball right now. You know, kind of deal. So I want a reason to be positive, but I need to see it. I need to see it, you know, like and I need to see it on Sunday.
Yeah. I definitely agree. Like if that's why it's so important that you beat the teams you're supposed to beat because now you've dug yourself in a hole and you know, like you have to basically go the rest of the season like being damn near perfect, you know, and it's like you've like given yourself little leeway here. And like you so far from what up until, you know, the seasons that we've seen, most of the time, like you said, when their backs are up against the wall, that's when we see all of a sudden this team come to life. It's like they don't know how to act like just playing normal football. Like they have to be like put into a situation that's like, oh, okay, like now we got to prove it. Oh, all right, we got this, you know, and it's just like, God, stop getting yourself into these fucking holes and you wouldn't have to play Superman to get out, you know? But yeah, definitely Kyle needs to do something with his coaches. Like that special teams shit, like this is year after year after year after year after year. I mean, goes back before Kyle's even there, but I mean, we can, like, he's our head coach now. So his entire tenure, special teams has been ass, complete and utter ass. You know, like we used to talk so much shit about, what was the last special teams coach?
I don't even remember who was the
Yeah,
last
but
coach. It's
whatever.
someone forgettable because they've been terrible for
yeah, I was always talking
long
about
time.
like Kyle just keeps him because that was Kyle's buddy, you know, like, and finally, you know, like they got rid of him because year after year he was ass, and then you bring in somebody that's ass. Like, stop bringing in coaches from the ops. Like, stop bringing in Seattle's leftovers. Like, Seattle got rid of them for a reason. Don't bring them over here. But yeah, like, yeah, special teams, like, making me so sick to my stomach this week. Like, I couldn't even stomach it. But
if I can say something about the special teams real quick, did you see Kyle's comments when he was asked about special teams?
Yeah.
Because like that to me, like, is part of the problem. Like he basically admitted, like, we're fine if you're average, we're fine if special teams is mid, as long as you don't lose us the game. Like that.
Yeah.
And what kind of standard is that? Like, of course, if you have that mindset, of course, the special teams has been terrible. Like, you know, and now like the margin for error for this team right now, with this offense being what it is at this moment, the defense being what it is at this moment, the margin for error is so much smaller now. So now special teams mistakes are going to be amplified. They're going to be the reason that you lose games, because, you know, your offense and your defense need a little bit of help. That's when you need your special teams to be on point, and it's not. So I didn't like that answer from Kyle. I think it told me a lot about why special teams has been as bad as it has been. But at the same time, like, I do feel like Kyle was, you know, trying to put him on notice a little bit by, you know, what he said. He did kind of mention coaching and needing to be more prepared. So hopefully if there's another mistake like that, it's not going to be much longer until he's out.
Another crazy thing that he said about it was when he said, we were expecting the fake right there.
Yeah.
So you were expecting them to fake it and still let them fake it successfully?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's so bad. Like, what are you even doing? Like, what are you even doing in practice? Like, what are you even doing? Like, what do you do here, Brian Schneider?
That's like, I'm going to go stand in the train track and I'm going to expect the train to hit me, but I'm not going to move. Like, what do you think is going to happen?
I mean, that just shows that's a great example of bad coaching. Like, you knew something was coming and you couldn't do anything to stop it at that point. Because, and mind you, like, special team, like, I don't know, that's all you do. Like, you prepare for those things, or you should be preparing for those things. So yeah.
And, you know, with him making that comment that you brought up about, you know, just don't lose us the game, like, it makes sense all these years that, you know, like, I remember when we first got Ray, like, it was like, okay, we finally got somebody that's going to be able to return. We haven't had this in so long. Every time we get a new return guy, it's always the same spiel. We haven't had a return guy in so long, you know. And then Kyle's sitting up there like, oh, well, we see him as more than just a returner and blah, blah, blah. Like, we see him as a wide receiver and a weapon and this and that and that. So it's like, okay, this guy's going to actually be able to do something. And then you got to get in there and it's like, fair catch, fair catch, fair catch. And it was just like, what the fuck is going on? Well, that makes sense, because that they just want you to get in there and take care of the ball. Don't do anything.
Because just don't fuck it up. That's it.
So the guys get in there and it's just like, okay, grab the ball. Like, oh my God, I can't stand it.
Yeah.
All right. So Patriots coming to town. They're 1-2 as well, right? I think. Yeah. I mean, Steph, like, we said the same shit about the Rams. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Even with the 49ers injuries. Looking at paper, there's no way the 49ers should lose this game. On paper. What do you think happened, Steph? Talk to me about this Patriots game.
I mean, I'm going to continue to predict that the 49ers win, but I'll tell you why. I think it's because that's my expectation. I expect that the better team beats an inferior team because they should, right? Um, Now, whether or not that happens is all dependent on what version of the 49ers we see come through on Sunday. Do they snap out of it? Because like my thing is, if you lose a game, my expectation too for a team this good is that the next week, like you snap out of it and you're gonna reverse that wrong that you did and you're gonna win. Now it's two losses in a row. I do have respect for the Vikings. I think they're a lot better than anyone expected they would be this season. So that loss I can live with. But again, like you couldn't snap out of it and you couldn't put together a closing performance against the Rams. So that's seriously concerning because if they're capable of doing that, they can lose against anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a scary thought. So that's where I'm at with the team right now. Like I don't even know what this 2024 team is. So and that's why I have a hard time I think getting myself back into like the positivity mode. It's different than last year because last year, when they had those 3 losses, it was much later in the season and we had seen them like dominate teams like before then. So we knew they had it in them. This year we haven't really seen them like put it all together yet. And even in week 1, I think in week 1 you could even argue like the Jets weren't all put together. Like the Jets just beat the Patriots by like what was it, like 28-3 or 30 something 3. I'm not even sure what this current 49ers team would beat the Jets if they played them right now.
Well,
Because
yeah,
I
because
don't
remember
know.
that
I
was
don't
Aaron's
know. I
first
have
game
no
back.
idea. Yeah, I have no idea what this team is. And even in that week 1 game, they didn't look all the way put together, right?
Mm-hmm.
On both sides, all sides of the ball, really. So I have a hard time figuring out like what's legit with this team. What I've seen most of though is bad. Like these last 2 weeks, they've been bad. That's the larger sample size that I have. So again, like my expectation is that they'll win, but I also know that I don't know anything about this team and anything can happen.
Yeah. Jedi's just killing the comments with so much good stuff right now, but says they can't pass, but they can run. And guess what? The 49ers run defense sucks ass. So
it's not the worst. I'll tell you, it's really
no, it's
not the
not the
worst in
worst,
the
but
league. It's not it, and it's slightly better than average, which I think is still not good enough. Like we want it to be better again. Like we have high expectations for this defense. My issue with the run defense or just the defensive line in general, look, I think they'd figure it out, but it's going to be hard to figure it out if you're now like hurt. Like Javon Hargrave, they could have probably figured it out with Javon Hargrave there. He's out for the season now. So you got to find the next man up. And we were just talking about Jordan Elliott. He got carted off of practice. Is he even going to be
what
able to
happened?
play
Do we
Sunday?
know? What
I
happened to
don't
him?
know. Just look it. They said it was it foot? It was a foot injury.
What the hell?
Some sort. So I don't know. That's all we know right now because it literally like just happened at practice, but that doesn't make me feel great, right? So yeah, I'm just
We're gonna have to
concerned.
call up the other Jordan Elliott and tell him to fill in.
At this rate, can he fill some run holes in
I don't know. He's kind of
some,
slender,
yeah, so I'm concerned about the run defense regressing even more.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a
If you can
concern to me.
stomach that.
Yeah.
if you can stomach to think of that. And then Jedi says 12-5 is still on the table technically. And it is. And it still gives us a couple games to, to not have to go all the way out perfect. But now here's where you start. Like we said, you have to beat the Patriots. And then who do we have after that? Arizona, I think somebody said, like, you have to beat Arizona. Like, like you have to take care of these teams that you're supposed to take care of from here on out. And I know it's hard, like, to be positive right now, but going back, we've seen the 49ers do it before. We've seen this happen. That's why I'm not giving up hope yet, because I've seen, I feel like a shittier team out there on the field come back from worse. I've seen a Jimmy G led offense, led 49ers come back from worse. And right now, like, our quarterback, I can tell you for certain, our quarterback is a hell of a lot better than that guy ever was. And I feel that's what kind of gives me the hope here, because as much as everybody, all these other teams wanted to talk shit up into this season that, oh, Brock has all these weapons and he ain't shit without his weapons and blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? All of us has been talking about, we don't have no weapons. They're all hurt. And Brock's still out there making shit happen. Like, we're not losing because of Brock Purdy. And that's the thing, looking at the Patriots don't have a Matt Stafford. So we talked about there was only one way the Rams are going to beat us, and that's because they had Matt Stafford. The Patriots, there's nobody on that entire team that I can point to and say, well, if he puts the team on his back, they're going to beat us. The only thing is Ramondre Stevenson. That's the only person that would say, okay, if that guy gets out there and rushes for 200 yards, guess what? They're probably going to beat us, But I mean, other than that, like, what do they have? They're like a rebuilding team, a first time ever coach. Like, they used to have that. The coach, that used to be the fear factor when you thought of the Patriots last few years. Well, they could be shit, but Bill Belichick might be able to pull, something out of his ass and have some defensive stop or some defensive plan, or, they don't have that anymore. Tom Brady ain't running out of that tunnel anytime soon to save him.
Yeah.
So the 49ers have to handle business.
And that's kind of what I'm trying to hang my hat on as well, Mariah, that, like, I kind of I'm not making excuses for the loss, but I think I did expect that we'd get the best version of Matthew Stafford. And like we said, yeah, if they were going to win, it'd be because of him. The Patriots just don't have that type of saving grace on their team, at least at the quarterback position. So that's why the 49ers do have a better chance there. The run defense, I think, is going to be concerning because, like, Ramondre Stevenson is like a bruiser of a back. He's a big guy, so guys need to come ready to tackle. I will say this: I've been saying it. He's fumbled in every game so far this season. So, Fred, get that peanut punch ready, buddy, because we need it this week. And yeah, like that. That's the kind of plays that the defense needs to get them going, and not feel like they're I mean, it sounds silly, but not feel like they're on the defense the whole time, even though they're defense. But you know what I mean? Like, you got to be attacking. You got to attack instead of just like, oh no, like,
you have to do the attacking.
We're getting driven on right now.
Hit you.
Yeah, like, you're getting driven on right now. Oh no, like, we keep getting pushed back. They keep moving the ball. We keep allowing third down conversions. Like, no, like, we need more. We need more. From the pass rush, from the secondary, everyone, man. It's like I said, with injuries, it's going to be tough, but they got to dig deep. And I think the leaders on this team, on that defense, need to set the standard and make sure every guy is playing with that, because there's some guys that already in week 3 are the weak points, and they're vulnerable and they're being targeted.
Yep.
And they're going to continue to get targeted, if something doesn't change. So, yeah, it's just going to continue to be an issue unless someone else steps up in that player's place, or if that player, changes something in their game.
I'm looking at you, D. Winters and Renardo Green.
Yeah, if they get that shot, man, I'd be really pumped to see them out there.
Jedi says Fred is going to be mad from last week. A couple, bright points real quick on the defense. Like Fred Warner, like holy freaking smokes. I was in a playback channel, and they reviewed different games from this past week. Like they do it every week. And they were reviewing some teams, and they kept saying, like, look at their linebackers. And they were just so shit. And they kept saying there's no way that offense would be able to do that if Fred Warner was on the team. There's no way they'd be able to. And every game, there's no way they'd be like, that's the standard that these people are holding other linebackers to. And they're just not cutting it. Like, it's crazy to watch the linebacker play from these other teams. Like, these linebackers, the Raiders specifically that we were watching, had no clue what the hell was going on. Like, they couldn't even communicate between the two of them to figure it out. Like, one was here, and then they're going, like, they couldn't, like, oh my, it was crazy. The fumbling and messing and clusterfuck they had going on. And it just makes me so thankful that, like, we could literally get on this show every single week and praise Fred Warner, because every single week, like, Mr. Consistency, man, like, game in and game out, that guy brings it. Practice, games, on the field, off the field, like, he is what you want as a football player, as like a leader, as the face of your team. Like we've been so lucky and blessed with the linebackers, I swear, on this team. And then another one real quick is Diamador Lenore has been balling out. Like, he's given up hardly, like, such few yards. And like, we've seen Charvarius Ward give up long ass touchdowns. Like, I don't know what the hell that guy is doing. But yet Diamador Lenore, Mr. I'm going to bet on myself and play myself into a bigger contract this season. Looks to be doing that so far. Like, we got to find a way. Like, we can't let that kid go. Like, I love just the dog that he plays with, and it's just so good, the run, the pass, the slot, outside. Like, you can literally do so much with him. And normally when you have somebody like that, and what's that saying, like a master, or like when they know so many things but they're not a master of any of them, and he's really good at everything that he does. Like, it's crazy, so hats off to those two guys, because they've really been carrying the friggin' defense. Like, without them, especially without Fred, like, holy shit. All right, score predictions. I tallied them up, Steph. After 3 weeks,
here we go.
Mariah's winning. Start there. Steph has a score differential of 61 points. Me, 47 points. Okay. The higher the number, the worse that it is, guys. Okay. Just remember that as we go. So the higher Steph's number gets here, just remember that. All right, Steph. What's your score prediction?
All right, I'm going to say 26-13.
Oh.
What? Was that yours too?
My paper? Because I have 27-13, so I feel like you're trying to cheat here.
How's that cheating?
Because you're
And
kind of.
even if we got the same number, that wouldn't benefit me at
I
all.
know
Like
what
I
it.
need to kind of swing for the fences here because like I'm so behind.
Yes, Jedi. That's it. Jack of all trades, master of none. Thank you.
Except that Lenore is master of all, as we're saying.
Exactly.
Jack of all trades, master of all.
Score predictions. What you guys got? Bebop 35-10, Brandon 24-10. That's from a Jets fan, by the way. So we appreciate you giving us the dub there. Yeah, so 26-13 for Steph, 27-13 for me. Ooh. Obviously, with the 49ers winning. I had changed it because I had 31 and then I crossed it all out and then I changed it because I'm like, I've been trying to have them scoring over 30 every week and they've been letting me down. So
yeah, we
like,
gotta
I gotta lower my expectations.
A bit. But scoring across the league is down, so I don't have to feel too bad about that one, I guess.
Yep. Paul 17-24, Jedi 31-9. That would be nice. Don 33-13, Jimmy 40-10. Woo! I hope you're right, Jimmy. Shoot. Moody MVP 28-17. All right, Steph, what else you got going on?
Nothing else today, but if you guys missed it, did a show with Monica, Football is Sexy, this morning. If you guys want to check that out on my channel, Steph49K. Tomorrow, doing my preview show with Kyle Posey of Niners Nation. And then also, like, on that show, I talk with Desi for like a few minutes to break down some of the injuries. And I'm definitely going to ask her about this Christian McCaffrey stuff and his trip to Germany and all that. So excited to... or looking forward to seeing what she says. I wouldn't say I'm excited to learn about this injury, but yeah, definitely want some more answers about it. So yeah, and then post game on Sunday.
That's a busy woman over there. Yeah, I'll definitely be tuned in because I need to hear what the professional Coach Desi has to say about this because, you know, a lot of people are assuming that, you know, it's like for some, you know, stem cell type thing, something that's not, you know, approved over here that he's having to go to another country for, but that might not necessarily be the case. You know, who knows what he's really over there for. So I definitely am interested to hear what she has to say since, you know, she is an expert in this medical field. So yeah, make sure you guys are tuned in with whatever Steph has going on over there. Make sure you guys are subscribed to both channels, Steph49K, Faithfully in Vegas. Yeah, we greatly appreciate you all. Chat, you guys have been amazing as always. I'm done for the week. Y'all know. So be locked in with Steph. Jason, thank you again for the donations. We definitely appreciate you. And yeah, we're out of here. Next Thursday, we'll be back. Same time, same place. 2 Goat Show every Thursday, 3 Pacific time. We're out of here.